Now he feels like he's being. Joe's equipment starts to malfunction for a moment. It clears up just in time to catch this noise.
What is up, guys, and welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about the Mirror of Erised from Harry Potter. The Mirror of Erised is a mirror that shows the user his or her heart's deepest desire. There is an inscription carved around the top, which reads in reverse. If you actually take it, because it's backwards, and you flip it, it actually says, "I show not your face, but your heart's desire," which is why it's called Mirror of Erised, because Erised backwards is desire. Harry stumbles upon this mirror when attempting to evade capture by Filch and Snape after starting a book screaming in the restricted section of the library. Harry retreats through an open door. In the mirror, he sees himself and his father and mother standing behind him, and all his extended family behind them. Harry then brings Ron to the mirror to show Ron his family. Ron instead sees himself as head boy holding the Quidditch cup. Harry revisits the mirror several times during Christmas vacation until he's surprised there one night by Professor Dumbledore. Dumbledore tells Harry that the mirror is very dangerous, that people have starved to death sitting in front of it, but that he is glad Harry found it and so now somewhat understands its power. Dumbledore goes on to say that he will now move the mirror to a new hiding place and asks Harry to not go looking for it. Harry impulsively asks Dumbledore what he sees in the mirror, and Dumbledore replies that he sees himself holding a pair of warm woolly socks. He goes on to explain that he always seems to be given and never has enough socks. Later, Harry thinks to himself that this had been an awfully intrusive question. In the final chamber under the trapdoor, Harry finds the mirror once again. This time, Harry, forced to look into it, sees himself with the Philosopher's Stone in his pocket. As he sees this, the stone itself appears in his pocket. Later, recovering in the hospital wing, he speaks with Professor Dumbledore concerning the mirror. Dumbledore says that he was rather proud of the enchantment that placed the stone within the mirror. The only person who could retrieve the stone would be one who dearly wanted the stone, but did not want to use it. In the final book in the series, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Harry thinks back to the Mirror of Erised and wonders again about his question to Dumbledore. Was Dumbledore entirely truthful when he told Harry what he saw in the mirror? Could it be that Dumbledore, like Harry, saw his family standing behind him? Thus, the inscription that I mentioned before, the one in reverse that says, "I show not your face but your heart's desire," does describe exactly what it does, and many readers, seeing what is clearly reversed text, have deciphered the text quickly. Why Harry does not do so is uncertain, as he is clearly aware of it. It is possible that Harry has been exposed to so much in the way of apparently nonsensical tags, with the spell and incantations and other writings being often almost nonsense words, that he no longer automatically tries to decipher writings that he does not immediately understand. One must wonder somewhat about the nature of the enchantment protecting the stone. Professor Quirrell says that he sees himself holding the stone, presenting it to his master. By the letter of the enchantment, the mirror should have surrendered the stone to him, as he was not planning to use it himself, only to give it to Voldemort. Two possibilities appear to account for its failure to release the stone. One is that, as Voldemort was at the point right at the back of Quirrell's head, and was in some manner sharing life force with Quirrell, the enchantment might not have been able to distinguish Quirrell from Voldemort, and Voldemort certainly wanted to use the stone. Alternatively, and more likely given the individuals involved, Quirrell could have simply been lying about not having any desire to use the stone himself, and thus lying about what he saw in the mirror. That does assume that Quirrell understands the nature of the Mirror of Erised, something that is by no means certain. He does ask at one point, what is the nature of the mirror? It is also possible that the enchantment is working on a slightly different level than the mirror. Yes, Quirrell's deepest desire may be to give the stone to his master, but at the same time, his intent is used to get it to Voldemort, off his head, and out of his mind. The enchantment may well be seeing that as sufficient use of the stone to prevent liberating it. Of course, Quirrell has hands, while Voldemort does not at this point. Quirrell would have to be the one who used the stone to create the elixir that would revive Voldemort, which would definitely qualify as using it. We also have the issue of Harry's deepest desire. We are told that at the moment, Harry's deepest desire is to find the stone before Quirrell does. This would seem to most readers to be not quite realistic. One would think that Harry's deepest desire would be for Dumbledore to appear and make it all go away. The author's point in showing Harry trying to do everything on his own, as has happened numerous places through this book, and in the series, suggests that having Harry want the stone rather than adult rescue is a deliberate limiting liming of Harry's personality by the author. Harry is, of course, the series hero, and must therefore be heroic, making him not only willing but desirous of handling things on his own. It is necessarily going to be part of his character if he is to be at all a convincing hero. There is a very large question that remains unanswered concerning this mirror. Clearly it has some ability to read minds. It must in order to know what one's heart's desire is. But Harry has no conscious memory of what his parents look like, yet the mirror is able to show them to him. We know that the mirror's depiction is accurate because in later books, and later in this book, Harry will find artifacts that show his parents and will not discover that the mirror got it wrong. How can the mirror know something that Harry himself does not? Similarly, neither Harry nor Quirrell has seen the stone. How can the mirror show it to them if they don't know what it looks like? In this latter case, the mirror could present the mental image each had of the stone. It is enough to show something that the individual recognizes as the Philosopher's Stone, even if it does not match the reality of what the stone looks like. So, there have been some questions from the description and from, what it's basically explained in the Philosopher's Stone. Like, what does Harry's vision in the Mirror of Erised compare to the stone itself? Like, for example, what it just explained, how he was able to see his parents, or show him his parents, and basically know already, the mirror has the knowledge to know what his parents look like when he doesn't even know himself. Just like it knew what the stone looked like, which that makes sense actually. The stone one, it actually got to see the stone be placed in the mirror, so it was able to see it, which is why it could project it. But the other two, Quirrell and Harry, had not seen the stone. The wizards themselves have not seen the stone, so I guess it's a mystery that will either remain unsolved unless J.K. Rowling explains it, or will just go down forever as questionable. And this has been Harry Potter's Discussions Episode 2, The Mirror of Erised. Thank you guys for listening again. And I do have an intro that you just saw, and we're going to roll the outro. So, thank you guys. Variety Network signing out.
Like to see, to this day, he isn't sure if the challenge worked, or if it was just his nerves getting the best of